Good evening and welcome to CBS 19 Extreme East Texas. Storms, surprises, and safety. I'm CBS 19 Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony.
And I'm meteorologist Sarah Blue. Thank you for joining us. We have a whirlwind of weather stories ahead.
We're talking about storms from March of 2022, last year's stretch of severe weather from late May into early June. We're also looking at where you should go in case there is a tornado warning issued. And we've got the extended spring outlook coming up and surprises. Artificial intelligence in weather forecasting.
Yeah, Brett, artificial intelligence is all around us, from generative text programs to chatbots. But have you considered its impact on weather forecasting? AI weather models are new on the scene, and they may give meteorologists a leg up.
The AI models are much faster once they are trained.
That can save valuable time when a forecast is made. Okay, but let's back up. What's the difference between an AI weather model and a traditional weather model? A traditional weather model uses a complicated set of equations to forecast the future. It relies on the laws of physics, but an AI model does things a bit differently. It produces the same type of result, but it gets there via a separate path.
Instead of using the laws of physics in an AI model, you basically do what you call supervised machine learning.
Machine learning happens when a computer learns to recognize patterns within a large data set, as defined by the U.S. Department of Energy. This is similar to the way a human learns. Once an AI model knows what patterns to look for, it can attempt to predict the weather. And some AI models are proving to be just as accurate as traditional forecast models.
Evidence shows that for the first 10 forecasts, the best models are just as good as the best physics-based models.
And in some instances, they may be even better. Google DeepMind's GraphCast is a well-known AI forecast model. According to a report in Science, it was more accurate than legacy weather models on several metrics, including hurricanes and extreme temperatures. However, AI weather models may fall short when looking more than 10 to 15 days in the future.
But the longer range is more challenging right now for the AI models.
A lot of this research is still very new and cutting edge, but AI is currently being used by the National Weather Service.
There are a couple of AI models that we do look at pretty much on a daily basis. Some of them are operational, some of them are experimental, some of them are working to various degrees of success.
The Lone Star State is part of pushing the boundaries of weather forecasting.
UT Meteogan is basically an AI-based high-resolution model.
The UT Meteogan is an AI weather model that is being developed and housed at the University of Texas in Austin, and it is blazing a trail in weather forecasting.
It's a generative AI with super resolution.
That means the forecast is clearer and more zoomed in. Other AI forecasts can be pixelated. But UT Meteogan researchers are focusing on providing more localized data faster. Recently, the UT Meteogan was used to forecast during the Paris Olympics. Researchers looked at rain, wind, and thermal comfort data, to name a few. AI weather models are currently pushing the envelope in weather forecasting, but they are not currently in a position to replace real-life meteorologists.
These models will not put human forecasters out of business. You as a user wouldn't see the difference.
Instead, AI weather models are just another tool in a meteorologist's tool belt, a tool that may help forecasts be more accurate and up-to-date in the future.
Well, tornadoes make the headlines when it comes to severe weather, but hurricane-strength wind gusts can do just as much damage. The city of Tyler found that out in early June of last year. It was June 3rd, and as sunset approached, the sky darkened quickly as a powerful thunderstorm complex approached Smith County.
It was a crazy night. Everywhere as I was coming from my house, trees were down everywhere.
That's how David Lewis remembers the night of June 3rd. The amateur storm chaser was tracking several thunderstorms that evening.
So me and my kids, we chase storms. So we started out actually just kind of, riding around, following your weather report that evening.
So this storm just really got its act together. Moving out of Dallas, we had some severe thunderstorm warnings with it. It turned southeast, and this storm has just gotten a lot stronger. All right, let's go back to radar here. As we go back to radar, so look at that velocity, 83 miles an hour. Those powerful winds roared through Smith County, including Tyler. This is time-lapse video from our rooftop camera here at CBS 19. You can hear the intensity of the storm from this video shot out our front door. The peak winds slammed into South Tyler, and that's when Lewis got a phone call. The storm hit the Chase building, the building where Lewis works as an insurance agent.
And when I pulled up, the entire roof, it seemed, was in the parking lot of the building.
Doppler radar estimates a peak wind gust in Tyler of around 80 miles an hour. You know what I'd do? I'd go to my safe place right now. Just those winds look like they could be pushing 70 miles an hour.
A lot of damage that we're waking up to here in the city of Tyler.
CBS19 tracked the severe weather through the evening.
This is just the beginning of the damage that happened to part of their living room.
Showing you damage from not only the Chase building, but all across Smith County, including this report from our news director, Marangeli Lopez.
And there's just a lot that we've seen. Trees down, there's a lot of power out to a lot of intersections around the city of Tyler.
Daylight on June 4th revealed the power and destruction of the storm. Massive oak trees uprooted. Many toppled into homes like this one on Allen Drive in Tyler. The storm left almost 60,000 people without power.
We had a large spread of damage across the county.
ESD2 Fire Chief Eric Greaser recalls the violent storms on the night of June 3rd, but he also remembers May 23rd, when a tornado hit the Lake Palestine Marina and nearby neighborhoods.
A lot of wind damage, and so whether it's rotating wind or straight line, lots of trees down, lots of power lines down, lots of homes damaged, largely by trees into the houses. And so the men and women of Smith County ESD2 responded to hundreds of runs in that period related to storm damage.
Between May 21st and June 4th, 11 of those 15 days, severe thunderstorms developed across parts of East Texas. A stalled front and repeated waves of energy moving along the boundary combined to produce tornadoes, damaging straight-line winds, and flooding. Brad Bryant is the meteorologist in charge at the National Weather Service office in Shreveport. He says late spring storms like this aren't typical in East Texas.
That has kind of been a theme over the past few years. In late May into early June, when we typically see severe weather start to kind of decline as the jet stream shifts north and it focuses more towards the central plains. But the last couple of years have bucked that trend.
There's no way to tell if the trend will continue this spring. Global climate weather patterns such as El Nino and La Nina don't typically impact severe weather season in East Texas.
We're prone to that type of bad weather in the spring, regardless of if we're in El Nino or La Nina.
The June 3rd storm struck as the sun was setting. Research from Climate Central, a think tank of scientists and journalists, found the number of nighttime tornadoes has increased 20% since the 1950s. That's why ESD Chief Greaser emphasizes having more than one way to get warnings.
Especially when you're sleeping, a way to be notified, whether that's an app on your phone or more importantly, a weather radio that's programmed to your zip code that could wake you up, especially if we go under warning.
Thunderstorms can rapidly intensify, just like they did on the night of June 3rd, a night that will stand out for anyone impacted like David Lewis.
That had to be one of, in regards to seeing it form and then move into the Tyler area and the destruction that it left behind. I mean, that was amazing.
Well, coming up, I'll have the CBS19 Spring Severe Weather Season forecast for East Texas. Coming up a little later in the Extreme East Texas Storm Surprises and Safety, we'll take a look back at a storm that occurred in March of 2022.
Welcome back, East Texas. As we head into severe weather season, it's important to have a plan in place when severe weather strikes. A few terminology words you need to know: a tornado watch. That means a tornado is possible, so you need to be prepared. But during a tornado warning, that means a tornado has been sighted or indicated on radar, so you need to take action and go to your safe place. Now, your safe place, it's important to know where that is: at home, at work, and at school. In your home, you want to make sure you are going to the most interior room of the building. In a floor layout like this, the closet, the hall, and the stairs are the best options. Usually a bathroom is a good option as well. However, in this layout, it does have an exterior facing wall, and you want as many layers between you and the outside as possible. Also, make sure that you are covering yourself with blankets or a jacket to give yourself just the extra layer of protection, and put on your shoes as you're going to your safe place. Now, your safe place, obviously the most interior room, but if you can go underground into a basement or a storm shelter, that will be the safest option for for you. But what do you do if you're in a vehicle? Well, make every possible effort to get to a sturdy shelter that's inside, away from the tornado. If that's not possible, you have the option to leave your vehicle and lie face down in a ditch and cover your head. That will protect you from some of the flying debris. Or the National Weather Service says you can stay in your vehicle with the seat belt fastened and stay out of the path of the storm. Really, it depends on your situation what is the best option for you. But it's important to be prepared ahead of time. So make sure that before the storm, you review your severe weather safety plan with your family and that you have all of your devices charged with your battery packs ready to go. On the day of severe weather, have 2 ways to receive weather information and know where your safe place is. After the storm passes you by, though, make sure you're staying informed. Contact your loved ones via text. It's a bit more reliable than the phone lines in the wake of severe weather. And of course, be aware of downed power lines. Stay safe and stay weather aware.
The Tornado Act. Tornado Observations, Research, and Notification Assessment for Development of Operations Act. Better, faster, more modern. It's the future of the National Weather Service and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Senators from both parties, Democrats and Republicans, are pushing for the Tornado Act's passage. Senators from tornado-prone states reintroduced the Tornado Act in January, including Senator Ted Cruz. He signed on as a co-sponsor. The bill aims to streamline warnings, improve forecasting, and implement better ways to warn people about severe weather, and here's how. One of those is to improve how to communicate dangerous weather. Another one, improve real-time hazardous weather forecasts, and let's evaluate the current EF tornado rating scale. This year's Tornado Act is a reintroduction of the original act, offered 2 years ago by Mississippi Senator Roger Wicker.
The Tornado Act would require that NOAA work to improve hazardous weather communications and forecasting to help prevent the loss of life and property in future storms.
Wicker originally authored the Tornado Act in 2023 and reintroduced it in another attempt to give people more warning about tornadoes. The act applies here in East Texas.
Tornadoes are particularly deadly because they often strike at night, in the rain, and are hidden by woods and forests. In recent months, devastating tornadoes have taken lives across the country.
One of the provisions of the act is to start using a forecast model called WAFS, or Warn-On Forecast System. Right now, WAFS is only run during significant severe weather events.
What it is a rapidly updating storm scale, high-resolution model.
Brad Bryant is the lead meteorologist at the National Weather Service office in Shreveport. The office is responsible for issuing warnings in East Texas. WAFS runs 18 different models and comes up with the probability of tornadoes, wind damage, large hail, and flooding.
You can really hone in on where the worst of the weather might be and over the course of the next 2 to 6 hours.
WAFS can be used to bridge the gap between the time a watch is issued and the first warning comes out.
So maybe we can say 1 to 3 hours in advance, look, this area, this cluster of counties in East Texas, this modeling system is showing us a lot of potential. We're going to have to issue warnings over the course of the next 1 to 3 hours.
We don't know how recent layoffs at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and the National Weather Service will affect passage of the National Tornado Act. The bill is still in committee. We'll keep you up to date on its progress. When we come back, Sarah Blue will introduce us to a family who relied on a timely warning from the National Weather Service. You can hear their story after the break.
Welcome back, East Texas. In the late evening of March 21st and in the early morning hours of March 22nd in 2022, a powerful round of thunderstorms and tornadoes ripped through Rusk County. I spoke with one family who lived through the chaos and learned how they're recovering 3 years later.
It's so loud and so silent at the same time, if that makes any sense.
Amanda Morgan still remembers the deafening roar of a tornado as it touched down near her mobile home in Mount Enterprise, sending her and her family scrambling for safety.
And as soon as we got to the bathroom, it hit, and then it sucked the bathroom door backwards into our hallway.
Her mother-in-law, June Easley, was stranded in the trailer next door.
It knocked the TV on top of me. It did hit my head, but it knocked the TV on.
Miraculously, everyone in the family escaped without injuries. But even 3 years later, Morgan still feels anxious when storms roll through.
It still has that kind of impact. Any kind of storms, it's like I can't I can't stand it.
In late March of 2022, an EF2 tornado destroyed Morgan's home. A second EF2 twister ripped through other parts of Rusk County.
I had one that hit the Whispering Pines area, kind of traveled across US 259. Then we also had a tornado come through the city of Mount Enterprise and do a significant amount of damage down there.
Morgan and her family know that damage all too well.
And there's still stuff from on that pile over there. That's from the old place. That's our porch from the old house with all the stuff on it. That's still from stuff we tried to salvage from our home. Basically having to start over it.
Remnants of her destroyed mobile home still litter the property, but Morgan and her family weren't the only ones left picking up the pieces.
The recovery was a lot of chainsaws. The county commissioner and Road and Bridge for Precinct 3 came in really quickly, and we started stockpiling all of it at the Mount Enterprise School.
It's been 3 years since the storms touched down in Mount Enterprise, and you can still see scars from the tornadoes. Behind me are remnants of downed trees which have yet to be disposed of. A number of trees were snapped or knocked down after the storm, but the impact was more significant than that.
We had around 40 mobile homes that were damaged in some form or fashion, either from major damage all the way to minor damage.
The storm left behind power outages and forced school closures. Emergency Management Coordinator Patrick Dooley says the community was in limbo for 5 to 6 days. But for Morgan, the impact lasted much longer. Her family spent months living in a hotel, then with friends and family. Only recently did she get a new home.
It's been maybe 3 months since they tore the other trailer down and finally got it going.
Morgan and her family were lucky that night, as mobile homes are some of the most dangerous places to be during a tornado.
If you're at your mobile home and the tornado warning is issued for you, you need to get out.
Tornadic winds can easily lift a mobile home off its foundation or flip it over. National Weather Service experts urge mobile home residents to have a safety plan in place and to seek shelter in a sturdier structure when a tornado watch is issued.
If you wait until the tornado warning is actually issued at that point, you're probably not going to have enough time to get someplace.
That was the reality for Morgan and Easley that night. Easley says they survived by faith.
That trailer was rocking, and when I started praying, when I got my Jesus picture and praying, it stopped just like that.
Today, Morgan and Easley say they're in a much better place than they were 3 years ago. But when severe weather approaches, they're not taking any chances.
When a storm comes, I'll leave with my daughter and go to a hotel.
Now she's looking into installing a storm shelter to protect her and her family when the next big storm hits.
The severe weather season is just getting started, but here at CBS 19, we have an exclusive tool to help you stay ahead of the storms. It's called the LRC, or the Long Range Cycling Weather Pattern Theory. How does it work? Well, storms we've seen in the past will be repeating this spring, and it helps us to forecast when those storms will return. For instance, in November, we had a large upper-level low that moved through the central part of the United States. In early March, that same storm returned and brought severe weather and tornadoes to parts of East Texas. Looking forward into spring break, there's another storm system that will repeat, bringing a chance of rain from South Padre Island to New Orleans, all the way over to popular destinations like Panama Beach and also Destin. And as we go into the last week of March, we are looking at more showers, perhaps in the Florida Panhandle, with average highs climbing to around 82 degrees. So let's take a look at that March outlook. And again, the last week of March is going to be highlighted for a chance for showers and thunderstorms here in East Texas. Now let's move into April. Storms continue to cycle. Those patterns continue to repeat. And so a stormy pattern that we saw about 6 to 7 weeks prior to the middle part of April will again come back, and that will bring us some showers and thunderstorms as we get closer to Easter. Showers and thunderstorms will also be with us the last week of April. Then we get into May. May is traditionally a very stormy month in East Texas, with the peak of severe weather season occurring during the first 2 weeks of May, and I think this year's weather pattern will follow suit. We will also see a very active end of the month of May with showers and thunderstorms leading right up on through Memorial Day. June, well, once again, it looks like we are going to have a little stormy period to start the month of June like we've had the last couple of years. So our Easter forecast, mostly cloudy, damp and humid, sunrise temperature of 68, an afternoon high of 84. On Mother's Day, it'll be a marvelous day for Mom with temperatures warming to around 79 degrees and a nice southeast breeze. On Father's Day, a hot afternoon for Dad, temperatures climbing all the way up to 92 degrees with a lot of humidity. So recapping the spring forecast, above average rainfall and temperatures. Up to 7 severe weather setups will be possible. Some of these could be multi-day, and severe weather could again linger into early June.
Well, that's all the time we have for our spring weather special. If you like these stories and want more safety tips, visit our website, CBS19.tv.
Thanks for watching. For meteorologist Sarah Blue, I'm CBS 19 Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony. Have a great night.